Welcome back to the Brotherly Blitz, episode 3. We got a week ahead. Too many topics, lots of fun stuff. I mean, we could talk about a million things this week. It's going to get exciting. We have in our top right, all the way in Atlanta, Chesky Robbins, and the bottom left, Srilly from South Carolina, and Maishi from the frozen tundra. And we're going to just really jump right into it. We're going to let Chesky start us off. Chesky, what's on your mind? What's happening? How's life?
It's been a week in the world to say the least. Many things happened. Obviously, our first Sunday has passed without Packers playoff football. Um, obviously we had the big inauguration on Tuesday. Lot of questions surrounding that. Biden on his way out. We could talk about everything he just did. Um, and football season's pretty much over. And Israel. And our hostages were home. Were brought home. 3 of our hostages were brought home on Sunday. So many things we could dive into.
Dive into one. Let's go. Tell us how your Sunday or Monday, Martin Luther King Day went watching the inauguration. Where were you? What's going on? How are you feeling?
Well, to be honest, unlike many of the people who were screaming and crying about the inauguration, I actually had work that day, like a real American. So I didn't actually have a chance to watch too much of the inauguration. I caught some glimpses of it. But one thing I took out of it all, and the way I felt Monday and Tuesday, was pride. American pride is back. That's something we have not felt in the last 4 years, really. Um, that's the one thing that we really took out of Monday and Tuesday. American pride is back, and we could truly say that we're proud to be Americans. That was really my big takeaway from Monday
Yeah.
and Tuesday.
I'm so happy we started off with Chesky. We just gave him 2 minutes to talk, and now hopefully you could just shut up the rest of the time. That'd be fantastic. That'd be awesome.
Trust me, if you
Oh,
guys once you guys say something stupid, which is likely to happen, I'll be right on it. I'll be quick to respond, and trust me, I have a lot more to say. Kept it tame for you.
thank you, Chesky. We appreciate it. Why are you keeping it tame? It's a different question. Maishi, it's been a hectic week in the world between the inauguration, the hostages, the Bucks, the Packers. By the way, we got to make a quick dedication. This podcast is dedicated to the legend Bob Uecker
Yes,
on
we
his
didn't.
death this past week. Baruch Dynamis to the Milwaukee legend. Chesky really likes him a lot, like a lot. I'll talk about him more later. But Mike, with all that going on this week, tell us something.
So first of all, the Bob Uecker thing should not be skated over. That is a part of all of our lives.
Mendel thinks he's a nobody.
He's
Mendel
been
thinks
in,
Bob Uecker is a nobody.
Mr.
you know,
Baseball.
The most
literally
influential,
just
the biggest sports figure in the history of the state of Wisconsin.
Bob Uecker is an iconic legend for Brewers baseball and Milwaukee sports. He is get up, get out of here, gone. He is in his movie just a bit outside. Bob Uecker is nothing to skate over. Okay, sad day, but people die. So it is what it is.
We're off
Big
to a
week,
rocking start.
big week in sports, big week in the world. Chesky, just so you know, the inauguration was on a Monday, not a Tuesday.
I know, but I said
So
Monday
just
and Tuesday, the day after.
today's Tuesday. The big week in sports, we saw that the Lions were capable of crashing and burning miserably. Dan Campbell made some wonderful game choices and just general life choices. That was great to see for everybody. Patrick Mahomes is getting the luckiest calls of all time. It's actually disgusting if you're watching it. I mean, not really a good image for the NFL, if you ask me. And then if you're talking about politics, I mean, I thought the inauguration was awesome. I thought the way there was a couple of things I really liked about it. One was JD Vance's kids running around. They ran around and they're running in front of Trump, Melania. Nobody smelled them. Not a single person took a sniff. I thought that was pretty sweet. Um, but 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 also I thought it was great just to see how they interacted. And with the rest of it, I mean, it's wait and see. The ball's in his court now, and I have high hopes. That's really all I got to say about that.
The golden
Bucks are
era. Is
playing
that
good ball.
The
golden
golden
era?
era is beginning.
Golden
So
era. Well,
let's
we'll
let's
see.
let's let's jump into the NFL playoffs for a second. Shrilly, the Bears. Talk to us about the Bears hire and the Lions next season. By the way, last week we were talking about this amazing NFC North. The North has fallen one at a time, down by down. I listen. I'll go real quick. I actually have two about the Bears. I just have a bad feeling about this Ben Johnson hire. Going
Yep.
from an offensive coordinator to a coach is not simple, and
Yep.
going to it in a garbage organization is not simple at all. By the way, look at Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was a defensive coordinator on the Seahawks, took him to the Super Bowl. He was that monster defense with Earl Thomas. Then he went to coach in a garbage organization, the Cowboys. Was a fail. I think he coached the Cowboys.
He wasn't. He was a coordinator on the Cowboys. He wasn't a coach.
Stunk there.
Mendo, when you're to come to us with these stories, make
stuck
sure you
to-
get your facts straight.
He stunk in Atlanta, another garbage organization. I'm saying is that these coordinators to become is not so simple. And then second of all is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell, this big genius guy over here, big ball Dan, big guy Dan, not so big guy. He's about to lose his defensive coordinator and his offensive coordinator. Let me tell you something: the Lions will not make the playoffs next year.
Ooh.
Not happening.
Bold take. I agree with you.
That is
losing
I'm telling you.
the Lions losing Ben Johnson is a much bigger deal than the Bears getting him. The Lions losing Ben Johnson is huge. I don't know if the Lions are going to be that good next year.
Ben Johnson turned the Lions offense around. Before Ben Johnson came 3 years ago, the Lions were garbanzo beans. They were terrible. He turned them around. Could be Dan Campbell and his crying speech. He's always crying in the press conference, by the way. It's very weird. You don't have to always cry. But, like, he's crying. He started crying in the post-game press conference. Like, it hurts him, but, like, he didn't do anything to get there. I think Ben Johnson is a much bigger loss for the Lions than it is a gain for the Bears, although I do think that the guy is an insane offensive mind, and Caleb Williams is not a bust. He's a good quarterback, and if Ben Johnson can figure him out, it's not something to be scared of, but I think the Bears can be decent.
Surely,
the Bears still have many
I think
holes.
that the Bears. I think
They have
the
no
Bears,
line.
I think the biggest problem is going to be their offensive line. But under Ben Johnson, with all of the weapons that they do have on offense, if they pick up one or two offensive linemen in the offseason, honestly, that's probably the only thing they need in the offseason. If they do that, the Bears are something to be concerned about. I still think the Packers are the better organization, the better team. And if the Packers pick up one person in the offseason, they should take the North next year.
I'm not
But
scared of the
I
Bears.
don't
We're
think-
Packer fans. We're not scared of the Bears. The Bears will always suck until proven
Yeah.
otherwise.
Oh no, don't get
Bears
me
will
wrong. Don't
always
get me
be the
wrong.
Bears.
No matter how many things the Bears have going right, they will crash and burn. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if they are it doesn't matter if they go on a 10-game winning streak next year and win the division somehow. They're going to crash and burn, and the Packers will end up on top of the Bears at the end of the season in some way or another.
I
However-
100% agree. I'm just saying there's
However-
nothing to be. I'm not scared of the Bears, but I think Ben Johnson
I
is
think
an
Ben
incredible
Johnson
mind.
leaving the Lions and going to the Bears only benefits the Packers on both sides.
Exactly.
That's
it's a
the fact.
win-win for the Packers.
It's a win-win for the Packers. Let him go to the Bears. Let him leave the Lions. Let him go from the best team in the North to the worst team in the North. And then what will happen is they'll both be middle teams in the North, and the Packers can take the top spot.
Exactly.
Shirley, does this put the Bears in playoff contention?
No.
Okay, Shirley,
Well,
let me ask
it
you something.
depends.
I'll tell you if they get one or two offensive linemen in the offseason, they should be in playoff contention. I don't think they're going to win anything. But I think they'll make the playoffs with that offense.
One thing about the Bears, they were actually, I don't remember what their record was exactly, 5-2 or something before that Hail
4-2.
Mary against the
4-2.
Commanders, and then they went boom. They were okay
Yeah.
at the beginning of this season. They were.
Yeah.
But why are we talking about the Bears? We don't want to continue talking about the Bears. We can talk about the Packers or the Buffalo Bills, who I think are going to finally knock down Patrick Mahomes this coming week.
I very much agree with you, Shirley. I think I think it's time. It's time. And
I hope that Buffalo Bills do, but my God, if they don't, it's going to be such a scandal because you're going to see a lot of bullshit calls in that game. There's something wrong
Yep.
there. In the last game, it was just wrong. If you watch it, it was wrong.
Yeah.
So we didn't see much of it because that game was on Shabbos. But as soon as I turned it on after and I went to social media, all I saw was talks about the refs. I hardly saw anything about the game itself. I saw so many things
It's
just
not
about the refs.
it's not about whether or not it is true, as in like the refs favor or the refs are paid or something. I'm not saying it's any of that. I think that
Mahomes is
there
a
is
good actor. He knows how to draw them.
yeah, Mahomes is drawing the calls that Aaron Rodgers probably would have drawn in his prime. He's flopping, but there's like there was a late hit penalty. That was not, there was a roughing the passer penalty. That was not a roughing the passer, and
do you
it
think the
wasn't called
NFL
on the
is
other
sending
side
a
of the ball.
memo? Do you think the NFL is sending a memo to the crew that says keep an eye on this, watch out for Mahomes?
I hope so. Speaking of memos, do you know that the NFL ended up fining the Eagles
Yep.
player who hit Nixon on the kickoff for a helmet to
Yep.
helmet?
For helmet to helmet, yep, and there was no penalty.
That is game changing because if the penalty was there, Packers retained the ball.
Just adds a little bit of salt to the wound of that loss.
Yeah, that
So the
loss
NFL reviewed it and
deserved to
said
lose.
absolutely a penalty, and we're going to fine him for that hit.
Good. I think Packers. And by the way, I want to just about Euchre for a second. Out of all the Milwaukee sports, it would go Packers, Bucks, Brewers for me. So me and Bob Euchre do not have that relationship like me and Steve Stan had, or like Husky and Bob Euchre had. Husky
Listen,
loves.
I'm not curious about that comment. Yes, Mendel. I understand that. For me, it's Packers, baseball, Brewers, Bucks, right there, toe to toe. But I grew up with Bob Uecker in the summer, listening to Bob Uecker every night on the radio. He was Milwaukee sports, Mr. Baseball. So the way that you're poo-pooing his legacy in Milwaukee is a disrespect to him.
I am not poo-pooing his legacy in Milwaukee. Relax,
Mendel, you should be ashamed of yourself.
We have it as a man. We spoke about it. I listen. Whatever. Okay. I wanna just really bring up talk about really the inauguration for a second, and something that my kids are like, hey Indy. Anyway, something that
bring them on the show.
Something that really a couple things that really took me by the inauguration. First of all, I missed the whole inauguration. I was by Great Wolf Lodge with my family for my child's second birthday. Happy birthday, Indy. Shout out. Let's go. In any event, I came back home at like maybe 6:30, put the kids to bed, and I was able to start catching up, and I was pumped. Oh, I loved it. I watched him by the presser. He's a normal guy. He's like one of us. But a couple things. I really think I have two main points. Number one is Biden is dead. He's dead as a doorknob. Anyone who doesn't see it and doesn't realize that the guy has dementia, is not home, is not there, deserves anything, but maybe has dementia also. Because if you're watching it for more than 30 seconds, you have to know the guy's not home. And second of all, the media are literally terrible. They are the enemy of the people. And every media person needs to be held accountable for all the garbage that they spewed. And any media person that did a report on Biden's dementia or need the 20
lied about it. Lied about it.
Covered it up. Didn't want the 25th Amendment invoked. I mean, it's ridiculous. But
the 25th Amendment came from both sides. Like Mike Johnson just did an interview where he literally was in a meeting with Biden, and Biden was literally not even aware that he signed an executive order to, I can't remember the exact details. And Mike Johnson talks about it, and he was like, yeah, he didn't even know he signed this. So that's on the Republican side. The Republicans didn't want the 25th Amendment invoked because they said, yeah, Biden's bad, but Kamala would be worse.
And that's the same reason the Democrats did not want to do it, because they were trying to run Kamala and they didn't
Hmm.
want the American people to see what she was actually going to be like as the president, even if it's just for a short few months. They
She-
needed to hide her the same way they hid Biden because she was such a lousy candidate. Can we just stop for a second and thank God? Watching her, the more we watch her now, thank God Trump won. Like, imagine
I
if we were waking up and Kamala was the president.
So first of all, Trump has displayed his competence and his capabilities on the first day. There's no way in hell Kamala or Biden could have sat there for an out like 2 hours with just the media asking questions while he's
Yep.
multitasking, signing
It was unbelievable.
these whatever, and he's just answering question after question after question after question after question after question after question. And then on top of it, before that, he did the inauguration. Then he did three balls till like two something in the morning. And then by 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., he was up tweeting and doing his next tasks of the day to day.
At
That has
78 years old.
that is not something that either even Kamala at 50 or whatever she was, or Biden would have been capable of doing. All right. So I think it's impressive. That feat alone, I don't care if you're right or left, that shows that there's somebody in office. Then
Yeah.
also, the one last thing I want to say about that is his secretary pick is a 27-year-old woman. 27-year-old mom.
Tell us more.
That that youth that he's infusing into the party is not something the Republicans have ever seen.
Yeah.
This is a
You know who?
whole
You know who it's
different.
real thanks to?
Barron.
Aaron.
6 foot
Let's
tall Barron.
go,
Have you seen Barron?
Aaron.
He's really
I'd love to
tall.
have Barron on the
For a
podcast.
second.
It would look like this.
Oh, what a
Aaron is a
guy.
legend. I've been following him. It's
Who, Barron?
He's yeah.
he's great.
He has a Twitter?
No, but like you see the videos of him, like you saw the videos of him yesterday from the inauguration. It's just like
Did you see him go up to Biden and Kamala and like firmly go up to them and shake their hand? So,
Yeah.
hovering over them.
He's a beast.
Trump has him to thank, really, for the youth vote, for getting him to
By
go
the
on the
way-
podcast and getting out to get the youth vote. That's a lot of credit goes to Barron for that.
By the way, the last time he was president, he had a great press secretary also. Whatever her name is,
Haley McEnany.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever her name is, she was
Yeah.
good. But yeah, it's fantastic. By the way, one thing that Trump, I'm not so sure about. I don't this whole Israel thing. Did he bully them into a deal? Like, I don't
So-
understand what changed.
A couple of things. He answered this last night. A lot of Jews and Israelis and Trump supporters who voted for him because he's very pro-Israel were very nervous that, like what you said, they felt like he bullied Netanyahu into the deal. I truly believe that Trump needed his Reagan moment. He needed to have some people come home. So he did. There was some bullying involved in getting Netanyahu to sign the deal, which we don't love. But I believe that he's a massive, massive supporter of Israel, and he told Bibi that when it's time to go back, this is not an end of the war. This is just a small pause to get as many people back. When it's time to go back into Gaza, which Israel is going to do, because everyone knows that Hamas cannot continue to exist, Trump will have the full backing of Israel and more, way more than what Biden did. The first thing he did, he signed the restrictions that Biden had in place against the weapon shipment to Israel. So Trump is 100 fully backing Israel when it's time to go back in.
he also they asked him last night by his press conference. They asked him, "Do you think this hostage deal is going to last? Do you think the ceasefire deal is going to last?"
No.
said
And
no.
then he said no. He
straight
said, "I
up no.
doubt it."
He said, "I'm very unlikely. Like, it's not going to happen."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing about Trump that I thought was the key to everything. I didn't watch the inauguration either, but I watched his speech later. He said a line that I thought was everything. He said, "We're starting the revolution of common sense." I said, that is everything. He didn't have to say anything else. He could have just said that, and that would have been amazing. I don't know. I thought that was like.
It's crazy that we live in the world that saying that's a big deal.
And another thing, by the way, was I watched this like next to each other of Biden's first sitting in the thing. You know what the first thing that he signed was?
Who, Biden?
Yeah, a mask mandate. That was the first thing he signed.
It was during COVID. It
Wow.
was peak COVID.
I didn't know that.
It was
Wow,
the first,
that is
yeah.
that is really.
By the
something.
way,
What's the first thing Trump signed?
I don't know the first one.
The October
Federal workers?
January 6th.
No, that wasn't the first.
No.
It
By
wasn't
the
the first.
Capital One Arena, he sat there. He signed about 6 or 7 things, and
Which
then
is
by the
also
way,
genius.
Workers
I-
working and
one
having to
second.
come in person.
1 second.
No.
No, that wasn't the first one. That was like the third or fourth one. But he had, and then what he does is this guy. If you saw it live, it's fantastic. He sits there. He has all the pens. I was watching it live, and he starts throwing them to the audience. All the pens. It was hilarious. By the way, about Gaza and Hamas. Honestly, watching
Like T-shirts.
literally, it was like a lot of Bucks game, throwing things. But about Gaza and Hamas, real quick. Watching the exchange was actually a little scary for me, and I'll tell you why. Israel had just done this 15 months destroy Hamas, and then you see them all of a sudden a ceasefire. You see them all come out of their rabbit holes, and they're sitting there with their stupid freaking green things and their sunglasses, and it looks like they're in full action, in full control of the Gaza Strip. There's no way that I was watching anything, and you see all these videos how they're like in just full control. Like what is like. All of a sudden now they all put on their uniforms again. They're not hiding behind children, and they're just out in the open again. It's like, is it ever going to end? And then now we're also letting out thousands of terrorists back in. It's just a tough situation, and it looks like they still have control.
Yeah, that or they put on that show. They put on that spectacle to show or to make the world believe that they still have control and they still have so many fighters. It could be. Israel still has work to do. The job's not done. But yeah, they definitely have work to do. And why don't they? Maybe this is too simple of an idea, but Israel has always given away land for peace. They've given land for peace, given more land. Let's give them more land. If we appease them, they'll stop killing us. Why don't we take land for peace? Every single day, our hostages are not home. We take land that they're never getting back. We gave you this land. You abuse it.
Trump's
You
first
lose it.
Just off for a second.
What? Hello?
All right. Trump's first executive order was. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just was saying, going back to where we were. Trump's first executive order, by the way, was redacting 80 executive orders of Joe Biden's. That was his first executive order.
Amazing.
Now back.
Love it.
Now back into Israel. I don't actually care where America stands on Israel. And I've said this over and over again. I don't care where Trump stands on Israel. And I think the most beneficial thing that could happen for Israel is they have zero support from any foreign countries, including America.
You know who else said that?
Yeah, the Lubavitcher Rebbe.
Yep.
So I think that would be the best thing that could happen for Israel. I think that here's what's going to happen after the hostage situation. Hamas is not going to, nobody's going to stop. Israel's going to find the smallest excuse. What I don't understand, and this is maybe my lack of knowledge on this, why weren't all the hostages returned?
Because you're negotiating with terrorists. What do you mean?
No, negotiating with terrorists. Hamas needs them. They know if it wasn't for the hostages, if Hamas gave back all the hostages tomorrow,
wasn't the agreement
go in
wasn't
and
the
blow
agreement
them
for
all
the
up.
ceasefire? Wasn't the agreement for the ceasefire that all the hostages would be returned?
Nope.
How many hostages are still there? Has there been any proof of life?
1 second. Okay, Moshe, let me answer your questions. Okay. So the ceasefire was an agreement to have 33 hostages returned, and we don't even know who's alive and dead. And, okay, that's the first thing. 33, no one knows who's alive and dead besides Hamas. Now, so
They
we could be
might not
trading.
even know either.
They might. I think they do, but it could be not. Now, it could be that we're trading one dead Jewish person for 30 terrorists. It's possible that that's about to happen. Throughout the next 6-week period, there's like time frames. I don't know what it is. I think next Saturday, another 4 people are being released. Blah blah blah. There's like throughout the 6 weeks. Then there's another 6 after all 33 bodies or alive people get released. There's another 65 dead or alive people, Jews, still in
there.
Gaza. Moshe, let me ask you this actually. No,
Sure.
so you were in Afghanistan, right? They are another. I don't know if you can compare them to Gaza, but people that just like they see the American, they want to just kill you. I don't know if that's how it works.
Yeah, the Taliban at least. Yeah.
The Taliban. So the second America left, the Taliban just took over, like right
Uh-huh.
back. Right? Is
Yeah.
this like just what's gonna be happening in Gaza forever? Like
Yeah, they're like this happens everywhere in the world. Look at what happened in Iraq. As soon as they took out Saddam Hussein, what happened? Al Qaeda took over. If they've gotten rid of who used to run Gaza or whatever, the PLO or something like that, and then
Arafat and the beginning
yeah,
died.
Hamas took over. Like
PLO.
their entire belief system and core comes from a place of hate, anger, brainwashing, ideas that are just factually false. And there's no end in sight for this. There's no end in sight, and there never will be an end in sight. It's the same thing like Afghanistan. It's the same like any of those. There's no end in sight. So if these Hamas people are out, a new name person or group is coming in.
Yep.
That's why I think the only answer is these people need to they need to all be accepted into the surrounding countries. The Gaza itself should be turned into a flatland, and it should be a no occupation zone from either side, and it should be a dead military zone. And done.
Yeah. It's not
Shirley,
not a terrible idea.
what is your how? First of all, I think Shirley, your mic's on mute. Second of all, um, how? What's your? How are we getting some of our juice home? What's the story?
My
What's
mic was on mute because I didn't want to ruin the audio because my wife sounds like she's vacuuming, so I didn't want to. Anyways,
she's doing the right thing.
that's why I was 2 minutes late. By the way, I had to. Anyways,
wait, why were you late? Tell
no,
us.
because I had to switch the laundry because I had to help out a little bit,
Did you clean the lint?
No, I didn't clean the lint thing, so it could be.
Okay.
What was
around.
the
By the
point
way,
of
does
doing laundry,
anybody
Shirley?
else's belly button get lint or just mine?
Every
Mine
day.
fills up daily.
Oh, fantastic.
multiple times a day you have to empty it.
Yeah. So Vika forever was removing my lint, and then the kids saw it. So now Ariella will like to come up and grab my lint out for me. It's really uncomfortable. I'll just throw that.
There's a lot of things I can say now, and we're just gonna let that slide.
Thank you for sharing, Maishi.
Yeah, listen,
Shirley,
if you had kids, Husky, you'd get it. Mendel, I just can't wait for you, man. Shirley, God, you
I'm
ready to be
there
a dad?
already. What do you mean?
Shirley, you ready to be a dad? Let's go there for a second. Shirley, you ready to be a dad?
It is what it is. It's coming more and more.
You don't sound excited.
I'm very excited.
It is what it is.
It is what
He's like, it is what it is. I'm terrified. I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
Shirley, me, you, and Kobe are girl dads.
Who's Kobe? Oh, Kobe
Buff Dynamis, as you guys like to say.
Shirley, what's the deal with you? Wait, so when's the wife due?
Well, anyways, no, I'm very excited. There's a lot going on. We're traveling. We just got back from a travel. I'm leaving again this week. I'm going to California in 2 weeks. There's a lot going on. So I'm just trying to get back into a routine and get ready for the kid. We're very excited. The wife is due around March 17th, which is St. Patty's Day.
You announcing to the pod what you're having, or you
I will
confirming that it's
not
a
be
girl?
announcing to the pod what I'm having. Mendel
He
is convinced.
told me already. He told
Mendel
me.
is convinced he knows. He has
For
no
the record,
idea.
Mendel literally fed him as many shots as possible till he got him to spill the beans.
Yeah, and it
Told
was.
me.
I didn't tell Mendel. I found out I didn't tell Mendel because I asked Adina, and Adina said that he didn't tell me one way or another. So that's why I'm
So
going
wait,
to
Shirley, do
confirm
you know? You know.
that I
You
know.
know what you're at. You know what you're at.
Yeah.
So what's going to be her name?
I mean, it's only now that Trump's he's gonna be born.
Got
He's
you.
gonna be
Got you.
born under Trump's presidency. There's only he or she,
Ah,
Two genders.
so we can't change into it or whatever. Anyways, point is,
listen, Mendel went with Indy. That can go both ways.
What are you talking about? Her name is Hinda Razel. Shirley, give us some closing thoughts.
anyways, back to the hostages. I think it was very nice to see them come home. I think that the videos of the whole transfer and them forcing the kids to smile, I don't know, it was really, it hit home. It was weird. It was like, these people have been there for how many days were they there for?
471 days.
And then you read these other things. I really got to stay off social media, but then you read these other things where it's like, wow, look how amazing these kids look. Hamas is doing amazing to the hostages while Israel is beating up their soldiers in prisons.
How could anyone even say, like, how do you put those things in a sentence? Look how great they're treating hostages.
They were kidnapped for
That's what I
471
say.
days. How does it mean they were well taken? First of all, one of them came off missing a few fingers. Another one came home with another major hand injury. But it was 471 days they were held in the dungeons of Hamas. Who gives a shit if you think they were treated nicely? They were
So that's what I'm
kidnapped from
saying.
their homes.
These people compare it to Israel holding their soldiers hostage while we
Prisoners.
torture them.
They're not
Anyways,
hostages.
my closing thoughts are: we are about to have a Buffalo Bills versus Washington Commanders Super Bowl. I think the Commanders are going to beat the Eagles. I know I said the Rams are going to beat the Eagles. They should have beat the Eagles,
If it wasn't for the snow, they would have won.
and they almost won, and then they messed it up at the end. But I think Jaden Daniels is going to go to the Super Bowl. I think he's going to lose, but I think he's going to go to the Super Bowl.
That'll be so impressive. Rookie going to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
The winner's coming out of the AFC regardless.
I think
My
that's,
opinion.
I think the best bet of the NFC is already out of the playoffs.
The Packers.
The Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Chesky, give us a closing thought.
Closing thought. Number one, we got to bring the rest of the hostages home. I think that's the main point here. Seeing those three come home was pretty awesome, but there's still way too many still there. That's the main thing. That's what we have to remember. Football, I don't really care. I think Washington's going to win, beat the Philly, and I think they're going to lose to whoever they play. I really hope it's Buffalo. I have a feeling it's not going to be Buffalo. I have a feeling it's going to be Kansas City. And otherwise, not really caring so much about football. It's the offseason now. Packers got work to do. And I think basketball playoffs, Bucks, I'm trying to get into them, but they also still kind of stink. So not much going on the sports front, to be quite honest.
The NBA is really hard to watch these days.
Really, I'm trying hard to like get into the Bucks right now, but basketball is just hard to watch these days.
I haven't watched the game this season, so
we'll see what happens at the trade deadline for the Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks got work to do. It's not even the All-Star break yet. Exactly.
A couple of things on my mind. First of all, it's 8:56 right now. We close work today at 3:30. There's a lady that lives about 20 minutes from me. She had to park her car and walk home. It's literally almost like a snowmageddon operation Atlanta. But a couple things. I really think people just have kind of lost their mind a little bit. I'm sorry. And I really don't know like how to just like how is this Biden having dementia not like understood, and how is like Hamas even compared to like how is Hamas compared to Israel, like even the same conversation? How is our people who tried to kill us like are people just crazy? I don't even get it. Like where like correct, where is the like it's basic I don't know. It's just basic to me, and it seems like people have lost their mind. And so I think it's definitely on that front. And I want to also give a little shout out to Amir Robbins, our new editor of the
chief editor.
chief editor of the Brotherly Blitz. Thank you very much, Ami. He has been promoted as the editor of the Brotherly Blitz, and let's I really appreciate that. And Moishi, close us out.
All right, final thoughts. What do I got? Well, I agree that Buffalo is going to beat Kansas City. I don't agree that the Washington Commanders are going to beat Philly. I think Philly's going back to the Super Bowl, and I think Buffalo is going to win the Super Bowl. I think Buffalo deserves the Super Bowl. Does anybody remember what everyone was saying in the offseason this year about Buffalo?
They have
That
no
Josh Allen
receivers, they have no
is going to go
talent.
nowhere, and look at what they did this year. What a great team! Just got to give them some credit there for that. I just want to say that Washington Commanders are also a great story, but even going to the NFC Championship as a rookie is a good enough story in my opinion for Jaden Daniels. So like, I think the Eagles are just a more stout team all around than the Commanders. Um, Defense, offense, Saquon Barkley is just good, and their defense is good. So that's my opinion on football. Something that was not brought up here at all that should have been brought up is the fact that Joseph Biden, on his way out, decided to preemptively pardon his entire immediate family and then also
Unbelievable.
preemptively pardon Dr. Fauci and Liz Cheney.
Dr. Fauci back to 2014.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting on the dates and timelines for the preemptive pardons also. Now, that should be challenged in court. That should be considered illegal. That is literally like if the day somebody is born, you give them a pardon for any future crimes they commit. That should not be something that a president or any person has the power to do. And I would have said it was wrong for Trump to do it. And I say it's absolutely wrong for Biden to do it. And the best part about it is Biden on record has said it is the wrong thing to do and should never be done, and it'll never be something that his administration does. But the last 4 years have told us that everything that's coming out of their mouth is a lie. Um, that's really what I have to say. I am very excited for the next year of sports, the next 4 years of America. And I also want to thank our editor in chief, Amir Robbins, who is my son. Everything that he did I get full credit for, regardless of whether or not I have a hand
You
in it. It's just my, I get
no,
the
the
credit.
credit's all to Amir, Mosh. You did absolutely nothing.
100% it's to Amir. He is so talented.
Guys, a couple things real quick. First of all, a couple things that we missed. Shirley Robbins, if you're watching this on video, great. If not, he is not wearing his sweater, and it's because he just did his laundry. Second of all, Fauci, no one knows what the heck is going on with that guy. Third of all, next week we will be back, same time, same place. Thank you for listening to the Brotherly Blitz. Teskey, I hope next week you cannot make it. Have a good night. See y'all later. Let's go.